Hello there and welcome back to my channel. This is What If Deku Was Spider-Man Part 5, the finale. Yes, I'm gonna end off the series right here. Now, I think where we last left off, they just did the sports festival. Now, they're gonna do the entrance exam. No, the internships. Now, the students were in, one day the students were in class, and then Aizawa came in with Midnight, and he said, you gotta congratulations on what you did uh, and what you did in the sports festival. Now you gotta pick hero names and pick your internship. Now Midnight is gonna be be here for the hero names because I'm not good at it. Anyways, now Midnight said choose your names, and she gave papers. Now I don't know what to give. Wait, I'm gonna think for think a name. I thought of one. The bioelectricity hero, Volt. I don't think if it's good or it's bad. I don't care. Sorry. Now I don't care. He's was gonna go with the. I think Bakugo has one for all. Yeah, Bakugo's gonna go. Let's make Bakugo go to Gran Torino and Deku went to Best Genist. Now, okay, I'm not good at narrating. So let's skip when he arrived. He did some training. He sparred. He didn't get a ridiculous haircut. And let's say, Genus wasn't in the hoax. So no, Best Genus wasn't in Hoax City. Uh, let's skip. Let's say Bakugo says Ida and Todoroki, and he called Todoroki. Now let's skip when they return. When they returned, the same thing happened. All Might came in. He told them to wear their hero costumes. They went outside. They had to do the exercise where it's a maze, and it's amazing. Got it? I'm a lame, I know. Anyways, it was the team A was no Group A was Deku, Ida, Sero, Mina, and Ojiro. Listen, when the exercise started, Deku charged up his legs with bioelectricity and just jumped and jumped in the air and saw All Might in the middle, and he saw his location, so he just jumped his direction and won, got first place. Anyways, we skipped to 2 weeks. Talking way too fast. It's way too fast. Calm yourself. Anyways, we skipped 2 weeks. Uh, uh, for the exams. One day, Aizawa came in and told them that told them about the exams and told them to study and train. Now we skipped 3 days. They did the written exam. Now it's time for the practical exam. It's still Deku and Bakugo versus All Might, and everyone who passed, and everyone who failed. Now for the main event, when when Deku and Bakugo got to the arena, because Deku kinda hates Bakugo, he won't talk strategy with him, and Bakugo neither. So when Nezu said start, Deku just jumped away, and Bakugo jumped away as well. Now, but no, Bakugo stayed in the same street, but Deku jumped away because he sensed that All Might was planning to do a smash. Now, when All Might smashed, Bakugo got thrown back because he's an idiot. Anyways, and Deku just was running. And then All Might jumped to Bakugo and started beating him up and then asked, Young Bakugo, where's your teammate? And then Bakugo said, like I care. And then you hear Nezu say, Team Izuku Midoriya and Team Izuku Midoriya and Bakugo Gatsuki pass. And then when they turn around, they see Deku in go. Deku went through the finish line. Now, one day Deku was swinging around. Let's say they gave him 1 week break. Deku Deku was swinging around, and then he saw what did he see? He saw a bald man that was wearing I don't care. I'm just gonna say it's Electro. I think that's the name. His name is Electro. Yeah. He saw a man that was shooting around electricity, and then Deku jumped down and landed in a night light post and said, "Hey, dude, what you doing?" And then Electro turned around and said, "Spiderman, you have a big bounty on your head, and I need that money." And then Deku asked him, "What's your name?" And Deku and Electro answered him by, "My name is Electro." And that's, and then Deku told him, "You can't buy me. I'm not a banana. You can't buy me." And then Electro shot him with electricity, but Deku just went invisible and charged up his fist with bioelectricity because he knows that Electro suit is sorry. He knows that Electro suit is helping him with enhancing his electricity. So if he destroys the suit, he destroys Electro. So he just punched Electro once, breaking, dismantling his suit. And then the heroes arrived. The police and they saw Electro tied up with webs on a light post and with a sticker on him on his face. And when the police took the sticker, they read, at, "You're welcome from your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man." There was just a short arc. It's not even arc. Sorry. Now, after the exams, yeah. What after the exams? I forgot what's after the exams. Uh, yeah, the fourth training camp. I'm so stupid. So the same thing. I'm gonna because I don't like to say this, repeat the same thing that happened in canon. We skip all the way when they were in front of in the mountains. When the bus stopped and the Pussycats came out. When the Pussycat came out and Pixie Bob tried to, and let's say Midnight was there too. Pixie Bob, let's. I'm gonna a little interaction. And when Deku and Midnight came out, the Pixie Bob and Mandalay saw Midnight holding on to Izuku's arm, and then Midnight uh, let go of Izuku's arms, and she went to Mandalay and Pixie Bob, and then Mandalay asked him, "Who's that?" And Midnight said, "That's my boyfriend." And then Pixie Bob yelled, "You got a boyfriend before me?" And then Midnight said, "Yeah, so what?" That was just a little interaction, just because. Anyways, when Pixie Bob tried to push everybody to the mountains, Spider-Man, Deku's spidey senses tingled and he jumped up in the air. Uh, and everybody got shot down. And then he landed and he asked, "Can I take the bus?" And then Aizawa said, "Sure." Now we skip all the way when the villains attack because the same thing happened. But Izuku's just trained he went to a separate part of the force and trained his spidey senses. He trained his bioelectricity and how long he can be invisible. Now we skip when the villains attack. Koda, still the same thing happened with Koda. Koda was in there, Muscular tried to kill him. Deku saved him, punching Muscular in the chest with this bioelectricity, paralyzing him and breaking his rib cage. Because if you don't know, bioelectricity is very strong. I don't know that. I'm not a scientist. So Deku picked up Koda, took him to Mr. Aizawa. Mr. Aizawa. Bakugo still gets captured. No, but this time Deku doesn't go with the Bakugo retrieval gang. I'm gonna say that Deku and Nermi live together. Nermi is Midnight's real name. Now, let's say, my back. Let's say Midnight didn't go to the raid. When the raid happened, Nami was in her home, and she went to her and Izuku's room to see him where in his Spiderman suit, and she asked him, "Where are you going?" And he said, "To the raid." No, not the raid. To save that kid, to save Bakugo. And then she said, "Please be careful." And then he took off his mask and kissed her and told her goodbye. Sorry, and told her goodbye. Anyways, Izuku then landed on the same building that the Nomu factory was, and he saw Miss Genist, Mount Lady, and Tiger on the ground, and he saw a man with a suit on top of them. And then he saw All Might charging at him, and he saw Bakugo fighting the villains. And then when he turned around, he saw Uraraka, Ida, Kirishima, and Momo, and Todoroki. Now then he jumped down, and he said, "Whoa, guys, why are they fighting?" And then uh, Shigaraki said, "You, I'm gonna have fun killing you." And then Deku jumped in the air, grabbing Bakugo, shooting the whip at Bakugo, grabbing him, and then throwing him to the Bakugo retrieval gang and telling them to escape. And they did. Now Deku was still there the fighting the League of Villains. He was beating them up. Then All For One shot a shockwave towards him, but Deku dodged. Spider-Man dodged, and then he grabbed Deku by his telekinesis, slammed him down on the ground, and All Might was already in his skinny form because One For All is depleted faster because Bakugo has a quirk, and his quirk is feeding off One For All. No, but All Might was already in his skinny form, and Deku was getting slammed around, and they were just to make sure they were helicopters with cameras, and they could hear what the villains were saying, what everyone was saying. Then Deku was pretty beaten up, and then All For One grabbed him by his neck, and then looked at the camera and said, "Now you're gonna find out the identity of your friend, of your Spider-Man." And then he took off the mask to see Izuku Midoriya. And everybody was shocked because they all knew that was the UA Sports Festival winner. And Owen was pretty shocked and said, "Yo, Midoriya." And then Deku and everybody was that was in class 1A saw this, and the teacher saw this, and everybody saw this in the whole wide world. Now then Deku kicked off All for One and said, and whipped his mask, took his mask, grabbed his mask, and landed next to All Might and said, "I'm not Izuku Midori. When I'm wearing this suit, I'm not Izuku Midori." And then he wore his mask. This mask was pretty tore apart. He said, "I'm Spider-Man." And then bioelectricity started going around him, going around him, and he then charged at All for One. When All for One did his giant hand, but Deku just jumped over it and walked over his hand and just charged up his body with as much bioelectricity as possible, which was tearing apart his suit, and then punched All for One in the head like a United States match. The same effect happens. Now, Deku was on the ground, and the police showed up and grabbed him and arrested him because no, I'm gonna talk on that. Deku, when he did that, Deku jumped away. At midnight arrived, and she saw Deku on the ground, and then she grabbed him. He was about to fall, and she grabbed him, and she said, "Are you okay?" And Deku smiled at her. And then the police arrived and the heroes, and they said, "Midnight, you get away from that vigilante." And she said no. And then Endeavor grabbed her by a hand and tried to pull her, but then Deku punched him in the gut and saying, "Don't touch her." And then Deku looked at Midnight and kissed her and told her, "I'm sorry." And then he jumped away, swinging away. And then the police chief said, "Damn it, he left. He ran away. But at least we know his identity." Now, during this time, we skip all the way to the overhaul arc. So we skip about 3 months. Uh, Everybody was talking about how Izuku Midori is Spider-Man, and during this time, Deku was fought Vulture, Rhino, Doctor Octavius, Mr. Negative. Mr. Negative, yeah. Mr. Negative is that guy from the game. Anyway, we skip to the overall arc. We skip all the way to the fight with, this time instead of Deku, is Bakugo. As you know. We skip all the way to the fight with Bakugo against Shisaki. Now Bakugo was weaker because he doesn't have as much brain cells to know that Eri can help him. So he was getting beat up, and as a last ditch effort, he charged up his hands with 100% of One for All, and throw a big explosion as strong as a rocket launcher. No, as strong. It's 10 times as strong as a howitzer impact, which broke two of his Shisaki's arms. But he still has two. And then Deku arrived, and he said, "Oh, Bakugo, you're you're doing good for once." Then Bakugo turned around to see Spider-Man and said, "Deku, be useful and do something." And then he passed out. And then Deku, uh, if I forgot to say this, but Deku has organic webs. He doesn't have web. I don't know what's the name. I don't remember the name. He has organic webs. Then he uses organic webs to make a big like web around and the web grabbed Shisaki, and Deku started. Then Deku charged up his hand with bioelectricity, and did the same punch as he did to Shisaki and Ken at the final punch. And the final punch. Now, and Shisaki was knocked out. The police came, and during this time, Deku was still meeting. Uh, Deku changed his identity and his name. His name now. His name now is Peter Parker, and he looks like Peter Parker from the game. And there still the Endeavor arc still happen. That's it. This is where we're gonna end off the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. The reason I the reason I continued I made one part. I finished the series is because I'm working on two series that you're probably gonna like. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you next time. Peace.